The fire settles as I draw closer, sparks lifting and fading into the dark. Smoke carries the scent of old wood and damp earth, and the night presses in gently, listening. I have held this story longer than I have held my name. It was old when the roads were young, and it has walked beside many sleepers. Let me set it down now, while the embers still breathe. The cart path lay thin and pale beneath the moon, worn not by haste, but by patience. It curved through low hills where grass bent easily and stones remembered the weight of wheels long gone. No fences marked it, no signs claimed it. Those who travelled it did so quietly, knowing it preferred to be treated like a guest rather than a road. A man walked there one night, leading a small mule by a loose rope. He kept his pace even, never quick, never slow. The path had taught him that much. Hurry, and it would lengthen. Linger too long, and it would forget you were there. He travelled after dusk because the days had grown to full. Nights, at least, knew how to make room. Above him, the moon slid in and out of thin cloud, its light spilling across the ground like milk poured carefully. Each time it brightened, hoofprints appeared ahead of him. Each time it dimmed, they softened, as though unsure they wished to be seen. The man did not count the prints. He did not ask how old they were. That was another rule. He had learned the habits of the path over many journeys. Do not whistle. Do not speak names aloud. And if you hear another set of steps behind you, do not turn. 2 questions followed him as steadily as the mule's breathing. Who walked here before him, so regularly that the ground remembered? And why did the prince never face back the way he had come? The path moved through a shallow dip where the air cooled and the smell of water rose unseen. Here the stones lay closer together, their edges smoothed by centuries of passing. The man's boots found them easily. His body remembered even when his thoughts wandered. Moonlight stretched longer in this hollow. It gathered in the prints, silvering their hollows. They were the size of a horse's hooves, but lighter somehow, as if the weight that made them had been shared with the night. The mule slowed, not stopped, just enough to notice. The man loosened the rope a little more. Listening became part of the walking, not for danger, for rhythm. The night had its own pulse, and the path followed it. Crickets marked time. Grass whispered when the mule brushed it. Somewhere far off, an owl counted the dark. The prince kept appearing, always just ahead, never close enough to touch, never far enough to forget. Silence repeated itself until it grew familiar, like a tune hummed too softly to name. The man passed an old milestone half sunk into the earth, its markings worn smooth. No number remained, only the shape of a hand carved long ago, palm pressed flat, fingers pointing onward. He rested his own hand there for a moment. The stone was warmer than he expected. The second question grew heavier with each step. If the path was a lullaby, who was it meant to soothe? The night deepened without ceremony. Clouds thinned. Moonlight sharpened. The hoofprints brightened in response. Their edges clearer now, almost crisp. They seemed fresher. The mule's ears tilted forward, then eased back again. The man felt the faintest sense of being matched. Not followed, accompanied. He adjusted his stride without thinking, letting it fall into the same spacing as the prince. Step, breath, step, breath. The path approved. Time softened. Minutes loosened their hold. The man could not say how long he walked, only that the walking felt complete. His thoughts thinned until they no longer pressed against one another. Even the questions settled, content to lie unanswered. Once, the mule snorted softly, as if greeting something just beyond sight. The man did not look. I have walked that same stretch, on a night when sleep would not come, and the moon was kind enough to lend its light without asking anything back. I remember the sound of my own steps changing before I knew why. The path rose gently then, easing out of the hollow. The air warmed again. Grass gave way to packed earth, and the stones grew fewer. Ahead, the prints slowed, not stopped, slowed. They clustered closer together, as though the thing that made them had paused to consider something. Moonlight pooled there, thicker than before, almost luminous. The man felt a presence without shape, not beside him, not ahead, within the path itself. It was not a creature in the way stories often demand. No mane, no eyes, no breath he could see. It was movement remembered. Travel held so often that it had learned to exist on its own. The prints were the echo of journeys taken with care, horses led gently home after long days, carts rolling slow so sleeping children would not wake, messengers who kept their voices low so the night would not be startled. All of it pressed into the earth, layer upon layer, until the path began to walk itself. The man stopped where the prints ended. The mule did too. Moonlight lifted, spreading wide, and for a moment the path shone empty and complete. No prints, no sign, just a road resting. The man waited, not because he was told to, because the night felt unfinished. Then, softly, new prints formed behind him, facing the way he had come. He did not turn. He stepped forward instead, feeling the ground accept him, feeling the rhythm carry on without effort. The mule followed, calm as ever. Behind them, the path began its slow walk back through the dark, gathering moonlight, smoothing silence, readying itself for the next tired traveler who needed to be carried rather than led. The fire here burns lower now. Embers shift, and the night settles its weight more fully around us. Somewhere, a road is walking itself under the moon, and sleep knows the way. If you find yourself waking as though you have been traveling, there are other nights where the path keeps pace, and the fire is still warm enough to wait.